All right, now we got this all figured out.
I I got the shortest beard of all. I just realized that. Feeling a little naked now.
Well, it's funny. We've got all the way on the end, the most white in the beard. You've got some color, and then I'm kind of getting some grays in there. So,
You got a ways to go yet. You got the length though.
yeah, well, I've got two teenagers in the house still, and a
Uh,
soon-to-be 21-year-old. So I'm pretty sure that
wow.
we're. All right, well, we shall go ahead and start this interview. I am Red Beard the Hippy here with Mark and Tommy from Rescue the Crow, who, let's see, you guys have one CD out and getting ready to work on a second one, correct? Two
You
out.
already know.
And I think there's like 5 reaction review videos that I've done.
Yeah, I think
There's you.
something like that, man. You've done a lot for us, for sure. But yeah, we got two CDs out, and then we have a single out right now as well.
Which I haven't listened to the single just yet. I think I'm planning on reaction review video for it. I think.
Cool.
I don't know. I've got like a whole list that has been compiling because one of my friends tagged me in this on this site saying that I do reaction review videos. And then all of a sudden I got people messaging the site, and then I've got people messaging me, and then it's been fucking crazy.
I bet.
And so you guys are from the Kansas City area. Is it the KCK or KCMO?
Overland Park, specifically,
Yep.
Kansas City.
I think I was there. Well, I was in the Kansas City area in is that March? Yeah, I think we went. My mom took me around to some different places, so I went up to like what was that strawberry something, then
Mm-hmm.
over to Knuckleheads and the Vivo.
Nice.
Yeah, Knuckleheads is weird. It's like demilitarized zone, industrial park, out in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere,
Yeah. Totally in the middle of nowhere.
but one of the coolest fucking bars I've ever been to.
Yeah, they're outside. When you're able to go outside and watch them, it's so awesome. It really is.
Well,
Unfortunately, lost a lot of clubs in the last couple of years
yeah,
in
I
this area.
well, no, it's kind of been going around lately. Like I know some of the ones up in Omaha have been closing down lately too, where I've been
Mm.
seeing posts about it. And I think Lincoln had one that was a good venue that recently closed. Well, I think they switched music styles.
Have you ever
Uh,
been to the waiting room in Omaha?
No, but I've seen a lot of shows going through. Well, like I've seen flyers for shows and friends that are in bands that are like, "Hey, we're playing at this one."
Yeah, I'm going up there next weekend with my friend Bobby Liebling from Pentagram. We're going to go see Coven and Lucifer.
Oh shit, that's a hell of a show.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of the bigger cities. Like I know I've got some friends in Moulton and Viserys that are playing with Exodus in December. That's going to be in Omaha.
Yeah, Exodus is playing in Lawrence, I think, here before too long, which is about 20 minutes from here.
Yeah, it's not a bad drive. You guys are kind of in this
Yeah.
nice little music central hub where you can hit Lawrence, Topeka, Kansas City. What else is over in there? It's like the skate bar. Trying
Tell
to
you the truth, Lawrence probably has the best clubs right now. I mean, just not that much in Kansas City right now.
really, huh?
Yeah,
I
yeah. Although we lost the Riot Room, and there's a couple other clubs in Westport that are no longer around.
that's the one I
Just
saw that closed down recently.
yeah, that
yeah,
was that
that's
ordeal.
too bad.
I had so many times playing that place when it was a hurricane and the riot room. That
Yeah.
that was a sad, sad deal, man.
It's
Plus,
But
there was a cool bar close to us called Aftershock that we played a couple of times and
yeah,
gone too.
oh
yeah,
shit. I know I'd heard about that one. Like that's the weird thing. Like seeing a lot of show flyers, you just kind of start pegging where places are, and
Right.
like, okay, I know where that one is. Okay, that one's there. And
Well,
go
You know,
ahead.
Corey from Stratgazer Entertainment. Corey was doing a lot of the booking at Aftershock, and that was like a big thing. He was getting so many big shows in there, national acts coming through like all the time. We actually were able to be on two bills with two national acts, one being Head PE, which was awesome, and then one being Blacktop Mojo, which was really cool as well.
Oh, those guys are cool. I know
Yeah.
I'd seen some shows that they did down in Wichita, also, and I think they had some in. I think it was Lincoln. I think they played at the Bourbon in Lincoln.
Mm.
But there's so much social media stuff that I'm trying to like run through in my head. I know that I've seen the name, and I know some people that have played a show with them. They said they were a really cool band to watch. That I think it was a different style, but it's like a hard rock style.
Yeah, I know they got a cover of Aerosmith song like "Dream On." I think that's pretty popular.
Oh, okay. Better or worse, or better than the original, or
Oh no,
but it holds its own on.
Yeah, it holds its own, but I mean that original is just wow.
Well, I like seeing when like a band covers something. It's always interesting to see like, okay, did they hold true to the original, or did they kind of take it and make it their own?
yeah, that's a pretty good topic. I mean, what covers eclipse the originals? You know, I'll give you one that I always thought was Nirvana, um, "The Man Who Sold the World."
Oh yeah,
I always thought that was. I mean, David Bowie did the original. Uh, I think Nirvana just brought something different to it.
Hmm.
Um, Not many though. There's not many
uh,
that are better than the original.
Yeah.
Nonpoint did one where they did "In the Air Tonight," the Phil Collins song, and the only way that I
Yeah.
say that it's better than the original is it's got two drum solos versus the one,
Right.
and and it's the exact same drum solo. And it's just one of those ones where it's like, okay, this one, but they made it more have a rock feel to it than the original. But the original is still one of the only songs that you'll be in mid conversation with somebody, you hear that drum solo, get ready, and you're like, "Hey, did you see the
Yeah.
game last night?
Like
That was an amazing touchdown pass at the like you'll be mid conversation, stop it, and go right into the drum solo.
it's true. Just like Mike Tyson in the Hangover movie. I love this part, man.
Right.
Bwap!
Oh man. Another one is Tool did, in my opinion, a very good justice of No Quarter from Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Really, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, dude, it's on the Opiate album, and it's like a live, if I'm not mistaken. And man,
Yeah, I think it
I
is.
saw Tool in '98, and they did a Stranglehold.
Ooh.
really,
Hmm.
I did not
Yeah,
know
you
that.
could probably find that on YouTube. I'll
Ooh.
tell you a cover that I discovered recently, although it was recorded in the '90s, is a Crowbar doing Dreamweaver. That's
Oh,
pretty badass, actually.
oh man,
Huh. So that's
That's
that.
worth checking out.
I
yeah,
always like it when you see bands making it their own style. Like one song that always comes to mind is "Cry Little Sister." Is it's got the original, and then the ones that have made it popular since then or brought it back to being relevant, it sounds
Hmm.
just like the original. Where they
Yeah,
don't really make it their own, or they might add like one or two little parts in it, or a scream here or there, and it's like, no, just I want to see somebody metal the piss out of it.
right.
yeah, I like that too.
Hmm.
Live and Let Die, I guess that one's probably better than the original, the Guns N' Roses version. That's another one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Knocking on Heaven's Door, Guns N' Roses is probably better than the original.
yeah, I agree on that too. Actually,
Several Metallica covers are a little bit better than the originals. Brad Fan, Am I Evil? Uh,
I
those
saw.
are all bad covers.
Well, that's always something fun because covers are one of those ones where it's a very touchy subject with bands. Like what do we cover, what do we not cover? Like I think Children of Bodom did an entire cover album, but they picked all stuff that wasn't in their thrash metal style. Like they covered "Oops, I Did It Again,"
Oh shit.
and they're like,
I'll check
how
that.
it's one of the best covers I've heard because they're like, how do we write music for music that isn't actually music? Because there's no
That's
instruments.
talent, buddy.
There's
That's
no
talent.
instruments in any of Britney Spears' stuff, or like that
No,
era of stuff. It was all like synthetic beats and different things put together, and they wrote a song to it.
That's
the
cool.
cover, the cover we did, we just put out is Black Sabbath Solitude, which is one of the more obscure songs by the original lineup. It's on Master Reality.
Yeah.
It's one of the more mellow songs they ever did.
Well, that's always
And
something cool too, where you find a song that isn't as popular, so it brings.
yeah, yeah. And you got two choices with a cover: be truthful to the original or try to make it your own. We kind of fell in between that. I mean, I think it's pretty faithful, but there's no percussion to speak of on the original, and Tommy does a lot of percussion on it and changed it up a little bit. But
Well, and as long as people still know, they're like, "Oh, I know that one." Is always a
yeah,
big.
it's still totally recognizable.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like, I mean, it was done really well. That was Mark's idea, and I mean, it turned out like even more amazing than I even thought it would be. Like, honestly, we actually had Doug, who was on our first album with us. Just he's a good friend of ours, and we had him play bass on it, and he nailed some stuff on the bass that was just really cool that stood out. And then Rob put a lot of work in it too. Like,
He played some backwards piano on it.
Oh,
yeah,
cool. I'm
yeah,
gonna I'm gonna have to see. Now doing the interview prior to doing a reaction review video. I'm now gonna be like looking for certain things to see if I can pick it out and see where those parts are. So that makes it kind of.
Yeah, that part's pretty faithful to the original because he kind of did the same part the original did, where you don't really know it's a piano so much. It just but there's something in there.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh,
know, anyway,
so what
It
made
was
you choose that one versus any of the other Black Sabbath songs?
because I could sing it.
yeah,
and 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 I'm not a fraction of the singer that Tommy is. And you know, I don't usually do vocals, but I did on this one.
So it
Um,
kind of pushed your music ability and stuff a little bit.
yeah, plus I want to do something that's kind of, you know, just a different vibe than what we usually do and everything, even though Sabbath is obviously a pretty big influence on us, you
yeah.
know.
Well, yeah, I think most metal bands or rock bands or any subgenre of it has some kind of there's some kind of influence from it in some form or in one way or another. For
Yeah,
me,
they were basically the Beatles of heavy music.
Absolutely. And we love those guys. I mean, so good. I mean, all their stuff just so amazing.
and they're all still kicking.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
amazing. That was something that I tried to think about the other day too, was how many bands that old, all the original members are still living. And I
right.
couldn't think of another one. Well, Aerosmith, I guess. But they're not quite as old as Black Sabbath.
Right.
Um,
They're well. Aerosmith was like what late '70s when they formed.
no, their first album was like 72, 73. I mean,
Oh,
they go back a long ways. But like ZZ Top lost a member in the last few years, and Rush, and
well, they've also like those bands have also had like 50-year careers too, which a lot of
yeah,
people you don't see just like not just in the music industry, but just in like regular work environments. Like I have a guy that I work with that he's been at the same company for 46 years.
Yeah.
And like anymore, that's just something unheard of.
Right.
Yeah, that's loyalty for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think he can get away with a certain amount of stuff that most of us can't.
He should be able to that many years ago.
Right.
Well, we keep making the joke that he's getting close to retirement. He's like, I probably am, but like, he's taking a week off, and I made the comment to him. I was like, dude, when you take the week off, I go, I'm gonna give him all shit, saying, you know, you're getting ready to get your retirement paperwork in order. He's like, do it. So I got permission from him to mess with everybody. So. But
That's awesome.
I've also
Yeah,
watched him
that's
get
cool.
pissed off at the machine. He's like, I'm going home. And he'll just walk out, and they're like, where'd Greg go? I'm like, he left like an hour ago. Would you try to stop him? Nope. He threw his energy drink and said he was leaving. I was,
Yeah, he's probably like me. He's way past the burnout stage. I've been in the same field, professionally for 35 years, and whew, I'm about tired of it too.
Well, I've been doing the same thing for 10 years, but it's weird being almost 40 and still being one of the young guys in the department. Which
Yeah, that's what sucks with me because I used to, I used to be I was the youngest. The job that I got right now is directly related to the first real job I ever had. And yeah, I'm the old guy now. Old.
well, I keep giving them all grief that I got to start watching what they're doing. They're like, well, why do you care? I'm like, well, if you guys have been here for 30 years and still can get away with this stuff, I gotta watch how to make it where I look like I'm busy, but I'm not actually really doing anything. And they're like, just grab a piece of paper and stand there and make it look like you're looking at something or looking for something. I was like, noted, got it. they're like hobble around. They'll leave you alone most of the time because they think you're hurting. I already do that.
I hear you. So
Oh,
what was your first concert you ever went to, man?
It was in Salina at the Labor Building with two bands called Grin that was based out of Hayes. Which
my
Tommy
buddies.
Tommy knows some of those guys. I ended up seeing them again, or their new band Kindred, a year ago, and I gave them this signed poster, or it was bands used to like sign the promotional poster pictures, and it was from the House of Sight and Sound. And I gave it to them, and one of their members had just recently passed away, so they were going to give it to his daughter, which I thought was really cool. And they're like, well, do you want it? I was like, no, I got one that's made out to me when I was 16. So, and then the other band was
That's
from
cool.
from Wichita that was called Gulch,
Cool.
which used to be a couple of the members used to be in a band called Hostile.
Yeah, I
I
think I'd heard of them.
Hostile.
Yeah, because it's
It back in the
Dean and Dwayne Book. And a few years later, I ended up doing a show with Gulch. So when I was in a band, so I thought that was kind of cool.
That's very
That's
cool.
cool.
And then
Yeah.
now I'm starting to realize I'm getting into that category when I started realizing that I have kids that are older than some of the people that are in the music scene right now. So
Right.
I'm transversing from being like the young kid to being like the seasoned guy in the scene to now I'm like crossing over into that older guy status. And I'm like, now it's just a matter of time before I start having grandkids that are, the same age as me.
I hear you. I go to work wearing T-shirts that are older than some of my employees. That's always a bad one.
I've got one shirt still from like I think I got it in like '98. It's a GI Joe T-shirt that I got, and I can still tell the kids where I got it, when I got it, and they're like, "We've never heard of that store." Yeah, that closed down at like '02, before your time. It's the coolest store ever.
Right.
I tell you what, man, in the 80s and 90s, I used to always try to buy a shirt at every show I went to, and I always put it up and didn't wear it. And I still got some of those, but boy, I wish I had all of them because I mean, vintage T-shirts, concert T-shirts, that's a big thing these days. I mean, there's big money on that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd still also keep them because it's like I went to it. My
Yeah,
T-shirt.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of your proof, you know. I
Yeah.
mean,
That's unfortunately one of the big things. Unless you've got like pictures at the show anymore, it's the T-shirt where people are like, "Oh, where'd you see them at? Look at the back. I saw them in Kansas City at this one, or I saw them in Wichita
yeah,
at this place, or Omaha here."
I used to always keep my ticket stubs too, which unfortunately is almost a thing of the past.
Yeah,
You know,
that
I
one
hated it when it went to
sucks.
digital tickets. I always wanted to keep my, you know,
Well, because then
just can't
you
do it.
got the
Me too.
ticket stub, and it's like if you see a band member, and it's like, "Hey, can you sign this?" And it's you've got the ticket stub and the band.
Oh yeah, I kept I always called my rock and roll scrapbook for years and years, and had all my ticket stubs and guitar picks
Shit.
and shit in it. You know, I've still got it all, but
Isn't that
you
funny?
know,
We haven't even talked about that, Mark, but I did the same shit.
yeah, I've still got mine. I've been to a lot of shows that I don't have ticket stubs to because there wasn't any ticket stub to have.
Yeah,
But you know,
you hand $5 at the door, you hand whatever at the door, and you go right on in. You might be able to get a show
yeah.
flyer.
Yeah.
So I guess these days, you know, trying to get a picture with whoever you're going to see is, you know, or you still get a guitar pick if you're lucky enough.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of the times anymore, like depending on the show, the venue, uh, like is getting bands in, but people just aren't showing up, so you get the opportunity to actually talk to some of the bands, which is because they're right there. Like I went and saw, oh hell, what is that band's name? Insight, which is Max Cavalera's son, and I'm sitting
Oh,
there.
real?
Oh, it was cool. I was because dude's got a hell of a stage presence, and I was talking to him, but I never mentioned who his dad was. It was just kind of one of those ones where it's like, hey, I think you might know a couple people. You just kind of see the smile. He's like, yeah, I know a few, and we started talking, and asked him about this one band from like '98. He's like, oh yeah, man, I wasn't very old, but I remember them, and I pull out my phone. That's the band Snot, and that's my ringtone.
Okay.
And he's just like, holy shit, that is so fucking cool. So just being
Yeah,
able
I
to
got to
talk to
see
them.
them. I saw them that one year. They were on Ozfest, '98 or '99.
Yeah,
You know,
something like that. Yeah, I had a
yeah.
buddy that they ended up doing a show in Salina. I wasn't old enough to go. My parents wouldn't let me, which I missed out on. But well, it is what
Well,
it
another thing
is.
that kind of sucks about it is that these days, um, since no one buys records to speak of, you know, bands, big bands, and even club level bands do all these meet and greets, paid meet and greets. So just to be fair to everyone, they're not nearly as accessible, you know, because you can't really go out and meet people when you got other people that have paid to do the same thing. You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
it's like I remember back in I think it was '94. I saw Zach Wild's band Pride and Glory that he did one album under a band called Pride and Glory, and he played a little club in Westport in Kansas City called the Lone Star, which I'm sure Tommy remembers.
Hmm.
Um, After the show, hell, we was standing outside talking and shit. He said, "Hell, let's go back in and drink beer."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just not stuff that you'd get to do very much these days. You know.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of the cool thing about some of the smaller bars or like I ended up seeing Goat Horn I Hate God in Lincoln the day before my birthday. Ended up standing outside talking with some friends that they were on the bill, and I'm standing there talking to them. I look over, see it's the guitar player from Goat Whore. Walk over and like, hey man, uh, could we possibly do an interview if you guys have time? He's like, oh yeah man, I got you. So I ended up doing like a short interview with them. So
I saw that you had an interview with them. Yeah, that's cool.
and then I ended up talking to some of the guys from I Hate God. So the guitar player who's in all kinds of projects across the board.
Jimmy Bauer.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah,
a
he's
pretty
in
cool dude.
Down. Yeah, he's in Down.
Down, Super Joint Ritual.
Super Joint Ritual. Yeah.
I think he's got like 7 or 8 other bands that all those. I've noticed like all the guys from that South area, like that New Orleans, Texas, Louisiana area, they're all like that
Yep.
sludge metal group that's
Yep.
just
COCs from some of them are from down there, and of course Phil Anselmo. You know.
Brown.
him and his 20 bands that he's in.
Yeah. He's still sounding good though.
Oh, he sounds like suddenly like I saw some of the live stuff from the Pantera reunion stuff, and he actually sounds really good.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Versus
And
like
you can tell he's kind of slimmed down and got in shape and everything, and kicking ass.
Yeah.
You know.
well, and I know like during some of his other like I ended up seeing him with Super Joint Ritual, and he just sounded his voice. You could tell was beat from all the smoking and abuse that he's put his vocal cords through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Last time I saw Pantera was on the Great Southern Trendkill tour, and Phil OD'd on one show on that tour, and I remember people talking in the crowd, is this going to be the night that he dies?
Yeah.
You know, because I mean he was in a bad way
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
back in those days.
that's kind of the downfall about the rock and roll lifestyle is you kind of get hooked into it and it drags you in. And I know
Yeah.
just I know from when I was a lot younger, but like my back was always giving me problems. But you know, a few drinks here, a little bit of other additive stuff, and
Yep.
you're suddenly starting to feel good. But then it kind of starts to level out where you got to do way more to get that same
Yep.
level feeling. And
Yeah.
Then you depend on it.
Then it becomes dangerous.
oh yeah, I was
Real.
I was lucky to get out when I did. I had a couple of moments that were not the highlight of my career, but
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
but then once people know that you get out of it and you're not that person anymore, it's cool once they actually start accepting it. And it's like, hey man, you want a soda or you want an energy drink or can I get you a water or something? Versus like, hey, can I get you a drink?
Right.
Nah, man, I got out of town plates or I got out of state tags, man. I'm not drinking here. Like I'm,
Right.
mm-mm. Yeah, hell, even in the town that I live in, the last time I actually drank was, it was COVID, if that says anything, and my daughter was old enough to be able to drive, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm yelling up at her like, "Hey, I need a ride to McDonald's." Her first words are, "Dad, how drunk are you?" "Enough that I'm not driving. What time do they close?" And she's like, "I don't know. Let me look." I was like, "Never mind. I got a TV dinner." I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole lot, but it was enough that I knew that I probably shouldn't drive. So I was like, "Ooh, I finally get my DD," and didn't even get to use the DD because McDonald's was closed at like 10 o'clock, and it was way past that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure wish there's a White Castles around here. Be just like the movie.
Yeah, that's something I don't miss doing anymore, and it's nice having that feeling and that freedom from those chains of waking up and trying to figure out where the hell you're at, and the head hurts, and
Yeah. Well, you know, you can't stay at the party forever. It's just
No, man. At one point, you just got to like realize it, and everybody's different. Hits them at the right time when it's the right time, you know. And you know, it's like I've struggled with this, you know, as you both know, like a lot for a long time, and you know, it finally gets to the point where it's just got to be like, dude, the fucking battle's over. I lost the war. Put the gun down. You know, like it's like okay, there's something else for me than that. You know, so
yeah.
I don't feeling like, you know, I don't like that kind of vibe anymore. And the good thing about me is so much support I got, with everybody. Like everybody knows that that's been my problem for so long. So like nobody's like ready to offer me anything. Like
They don't want to be that guy.
yeah, like they all are like, dude, like we want you to live. We want you to not drink, like I mean, and I'm blessed. My partner in Rescue the Crow is my big brother. Like he's my one of my biggest supporters, and like fuck, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without him being, supporting of me, and all the other support that I've got, and I'm blessed for that. And sometimes I have to sit back and look at it and like realize the damage that I do to other people when I'm in that condition, and I
Yeah,
don't.
well, I wish people knew how how much of a struggle it was to get our 2 records done,
Yeah.
but we did, we got them done, and our newest one especially, a lot of the songs have a lot to do with, you know, that kind of issue of addiction and being trapped in that lifestyle,
Yeah.
Well,
and
that's the thing too. Like between like different genres, you can tell like rock, it's more trying to get away. Like people are trying to get out of that struggle, and you listen to like some of the newer pop stuff or like the rap stuff lately, and they're glorifying all of it. Like do
Right.
this or do this, and it's like no, don't do that. Trust all of us.
Right.
yeah, no, there's such a double standard about everything like that,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably not the same thing you're really talking about, but like, I mean, I hate country music, especially modern country music. I mean, I dig the old stuff, but
The pop
But new.
country
like
or
yeah, like Jason Aldean puts out that one song there's nothing about that song that could possibly be construed as offensive.
the
But
small
people,
town.
yeah, but people try to ban it and everything. At the same time, a year or two ago, there was a pop hit called "Wet Ass Pussy" that
Yeah.
I
little
listened to
kids were
that.
going around singing.
I
you know,
I I have to admit I listened to it because it was one of those where it's like everybody was talking about it. It's like okay, I need to see what the fuck's going on because I've got kids, and
yeah, I know that makes a big difference too.
I felt so fucking stupid after listening to that. Like I'd lost brain cells because just like there's no lyrical content, there's no lyrical structure. It's just it was so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it just I don't know, just look at the top 40 today. I mean, half the song. I mean, there's several songs on the charts right now that have the word "fuck" in the title. I mean,
Right.
it's not even something you gotta put a sticker on a record for these days. It's just right there.
Yeah.
Which doesn't bother me. It's just if it's aimed at kids and everything, it's just kind of sad.
It is sad.
Well, and that's the part with like I try to listen to what my kids listen to, or if they have a song that they want me to hear, like I make it a point to try to listen to it and be involved.
Yeah.
But like my son is a rock metal. He's been to a few metal shows, but he'll find these weird abstract like electronic beat rap songs, and there's a few of them where it's like I'm listening to it, and I was like, dude, you need to find a different song. Well, why? I was like, so far we're 30 seconds into the song, and I've heard fuck 48 times. Like, I didn't even know you could. But then I put in, like, a certain song from Korn's second album, and just seeing my kid's face, I was like, this is before your time, but here, check this one out. And they're just like, you can say all that? I was like, they did.
Yeah.
Not saying this is a good song that you should listen to. We got about 30 seconds into it, and they're just like, what is this? I was like, all right, we're going to delete this out of your search history. Hang on 1 second. It's like,
Right.
is this Korn? I was like, yes. Can I look it up? No. I can figure it out. Well, I'm pretty sure you can. Good luck. They've got 15 albums.
Right. Yep. Yep.
What album is this off of? I'm not telling you.
What was the second album? It wasn't Issues, was it?
No, it was Life is Peachy.
Life is peachy.
Life
Yeah.
is Peachy.
The song was Cunt with the K. One of the dirtiest, filthiest songs at the time.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, I hate to sound like the old guy that's yeah, I seen them and I seen them and I seen them, but I saw Corn on on the tour for the first album.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, I
Flying.
remember they played a Memorial Hall in Kansas City, Kansas, and they had just a little small U-Haul trailer with them, and they were the opening act for Danzig, and Marilyn Manson was the other opening act, and this was in '94, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be sounding about right. It doesn't sound like the old guy right there. It's that cool story where you can say that you heard this band before, like they're a stadium band now, and they'll pack a
Yeah,
stadium. But it's like I saw them, and they had this little U-Haul trailer. Like I,
yeah. I mean, that whole movement, new metal, new metal. There was a lot of it I really wasn't that big on. I mean, probably my favorite bands from that era, from that genre. I always liked Seven Dust quite a bit.
oh yeah, they're probably
You know,
the number one underrated band from that time frame.
One of my
yeah,
favorite bands of all time, honestly. I love Seven Dust. And
yeah.
Def
And LeJean Weatherspoon lives here.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've got a friend from a band down in Texas that every time he goes through there, they always hit up, and he's worn like some low gear merch on stage at his shows, and it's kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard he lives in Kansas City.
yeah. His girlfriend, I think, lives up here, or his wife, or was from here, or something.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't know.
well, that's like Max Cavalera. His wife is originally from like some small town in like northwestern Kansas. Was from what,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's just the weirdest things where you'll find out where people are at, or but no,
that's true.
those kind of stories are always the cool ones. Are like I ended up seeing like Napalm Death and Soulfly and bands like that in this little small venue in Salina, Kansas, as they're passing through. So
Yeah, it's pretty badass. It's it's cool. Like Alice in Chains and Pantera and bands like that, seeing them when they were just little club level bands. That's just memories that just you'll always have.
yeah, because
Yeah.
then you see them like on the cover of, we'll say, Revolver magazine, and it's like I saw them at so and so bar at
Yeah,
this time, or you see them there headlining this gig, and it's like I saw them at this bar and this bar at this time, and those type of things are always cool and different because like every generation's going to have those bands that it's like I saw them before they did this, or I saw them before they did this, or
yep,
like one of the guys that I work with, him and some of his friends would follow Corn around because he was from like the Bakersfield area, and he's like, yeah, we used to sell him dope. But like this was back in like '94, like '93, like in that era. So it's like that's a cool story that he has with that band, and they're one of the biggest metal acts that have been consistent for the longest period of time and relevant for the longest period of time.
Hmm.
yep,
Yeah.
that's true. I remember a buddy of mine telling me that he can remember Lane Staley been over on the corner of Westport puking his guts out. Everyone just walking by.
Yeah,
You know,
I know one lady from Salina, we call her Metal Mom, and like her parents, there was like Alice Cooper or David Bowie or one of them. Like she used to babysit them, like her mom did. So it's just kind of one of those weird things where you're like, or just
yeah, I knew someone that saw Alice Cooper in a Walmart buying mascara one time.
I
He was playing the Sedalia, Missouri, the Missouri State Fair one year, and someone saw him in Walmart. just buying some mascara.
Yeah, I saw the band OTEP. I saw them one time when I was leaving IHOP, and they were going in to eat, and it's like, hey, you guys are from OTEP, right? Yeah, we are. We didn't think anybody would recognize us. Well, you guys have a good evening. Go enjoy your meal. And they're like, no autographs, no nothing? No. I got to meet you guys outside of IHOP. That is cool enough. You guys go enjoy your meal. I don't want to keep you from it. And they were kind of baffled and blown away that somebody recognized them and didn't ask for an autograph. But this is before.
Yeah, that's cool.
This was before I found out all the stuff of how she really is.
Yeah, she's a character. I remember one time, not long after I moved up to this area, I was walking into our neighborhood Walmart and saw this guy that was like 6'6" with a long sleeve pink shirt and a big floppy hat, and I got to looking at him, and he was walking into Walmart, and he went into the restroom, and I was going there too. I wasn't following him in there, but I waited till he got done pissing. I said, "Man, are you Billy Corgan?" Yeah, yeah, I am. I said, "Man, can I get a picture with you?" And he said, "Yeah, but let's get out of the bathroom first." That's no problem. And I took a picture of Billy Corgan right there in front of the fucking customer service desk at Walmart that day.
That's awesome.
They were playing some festival at Sandstone that night, but I had no idea how tall that guy was.
I would not guess he was that tall.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. I mean, you wouldn't think so by looking at Smashing Pumpkins videos, but yeah, he's a big guy. But you just never know who you're going to run into.
Well, that's kind of like going to like local show stuff. Like you're not going to see you have no idea. You might just be watching, the next big band from the genre or stuff like that.
Yeah. It's true. That's true.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Oh yeah, and I've got some friends that are in a couple bands up here that people are like, oh, they're gonna be the next big thing. I was like, I got their T-shirt, so I'm good with that.
Yeah.
They're like, you've interviewed us, you've been to our shows, your family. Like, so if you guys make it big, I gotta go on tour with you. They're like, okay. You're just kind of joking with them.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that I don't subscribe to is anyone that says there's no good music these days. I mean, there are tons of great bands out there. It's just,
oh yeah,
these days it's going to be so much harder for anyone to. I mean, there's just so much stuff out there right now. It's so hard for bands to break through. I mean,
sometimes the clutter of the pop bullshit is like so much that's what they're draining everybody's mind into, and then there's all this other music out there that's just like waiting, and it's like, if you only heard some of it, you know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah,
got to dig down to like try to find those bands, are lucky enough to do so, but man,
yeah,
there's a lot of distraction.
Yeah, you put so much effort into something, and then you check back on it, and a year later it's got 19 views. But like I come home tonight, and my wife sent me a little link. My stepdaughter had a cyst in her ear. I don't mean to get too gross on you guys, but she posted a video of popping it yesterday on YouTube. She's got 4,000 views. We've been together for 5 years, and we don't have one single song that's got 4,000 views on YouTube.
I've got one little short that I did that had like 5,000 views, but that's because I was in a cemetery and I found some mushrooms, and like they weren't the special magic mushrooms. They were just mushrooms that were growing, but I made a joke out of it, knowing that people would catch on to it. Like, I'm not eating cemetery mushrooms, and it had like almost just as being goofy and like 6,000 views. But then I'll make like serious ones or different ones, and it's the algorithms are so fucking weird. Like I'll get one song to hit or one video to like what I'll say is do good, where it gets like 100 views, and it's like, all right, that's a good video, I'll take it. And
Right.
there's other ones where I'll put all the time to find it and do stuff, and it'll get like 10, and it's like, fuck.
Yep,
Right.
and it's all just where it gets placed, in the algorithms, like you said,
Yep.
I could see my stepdaughter's video probably getting placed with all the Dr. Pimple Popper shit, and there you go.
Yep.
Well, like I got some friends that are in a band called Imagine. Their guitar player made this joke because you know how Jay parted ways. Slipknot and Jay parted ways. Their drummer. Well,
I heard that,
they made a joke about it. They're like, we want to introduce our new drummer, and they had a picture of Jay, and this thing's got like 6,000 reactions, like 300 shares. People are trying to book him in places. And when I saw it, I think I was like I was within the first 50 people, and I did the laugh emoji on it. And they're like, this thing's blowing up. I suddenly realized, like, on my channel, I've got, like, suddenly Imagine's videos are all starting to kind of peak, and I'm like, the hell is going on with this? Like, you guys got something going on? And they took a picture and posted it, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. It's so
Yeah.
many people on the internet are believing that, they believe the littlest things on the internet, and they're like, "Oh, this is the new big thing."
Right.
Well, that's the other side of the coin, I mean, there's so much stuff out there, but if you happen to hit on something at the right time, you can become a star overnight,
Yep.
I don't know if I'd want to be that star. Some of that just seems like it'd be like the one-hit wonder type thing. Where is it really?
I don't know.
Worth it?
Sometimes people make a career out of it. It's like, you ever seen any videos from a guy named Catfish Cooley? A few years back, he started doing. Remember when they had that one tortilla chip that came in a little
Oh,
coffin,
yeah.
and people were doing videos of eating it and the reaction and everything. We started doing stuff like that, and now he does comedy tours across the country. I mean, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just, you never know. Look at that guy that put out that song.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, he fucking filmed that video, filmed the song, recorded the song in his backyard.
Yeah.
He had a #1 hit.
Poor man, south of
Yeah,
Virginia or something.
north of Richmond or something like that.
Yeah, it's a really good song though.
Yeah, it is. It's just amazing that's something that's unique to this generation. I mean, if you happen to strike on the right thing, you don't have to have any connections. You can make it all of a sudden.
Well, that's like with my channel. Obviously, like I cover a lot with the music and everything like that, but then I'll do these little goofy shorts, and I'm like, okay, if I can get somebody hooked in with one of these, maybe they'll, watch some of these other videos and find some new music, or why I do the underground reaction review videos, because everybody's more, I mean, don't get me wrong, the view times and the clicks would be nice, but at the same point in time, there's, if you haven't heard of Metallica at this point in time and you're somebody my age or your guys' age, like first time reaction to Metallica, yeah, bullshit. Like where the hell have
there's a
you
lot of that stuff.
or like first time hearing NWA? Like, okay, I get if you're like an 8-year-old. Okay,
Right.
I get that. Like somebody in their 40s, not so much. Like I'm not buying the bullshit with it. Or like I'll watch stuff to see how to do things better, and they're like, make sure you write a script. I'm like, no, I'm not spending time to write a script and memorize something for 30 seconds. Like I'm just gonna say the shit off the top of my head.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
I'll
and he'd probably show if you rehearse it, or pre-scripted it,
I'm
off the cuff's better at what the stuff you're doing.
I would rather be more authentic than make it sound like there's plenty of YouTubers out there that are big time stars, and like you'll watch this stuff and they're like, whoa, I kid, whoa, dude, whoa. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, that's
Right.
way too scripted. Like, or like, I'd go magnet fishing for a while, and then, like, these people would pull up stuff, and they're like 8 dudes and 12 lows in a row. And I did one where I literally was shooting the introduction to my video, and I'm holding my GoPro over my head, and you can see the lawnmower behind me in the creek. So, like, and then I threw my line out, hooked it, pulled it up, and was just doing. I was like, you know how stupid you sound, just making fun of it because I don't care, and I'm weird like that. Plus, I can still fight. So, and if I get my ass kicked, then well, I get my ass kicked. That's
There's
probably
another new video, good video.
Go, man.
Well, I certainly appreciate what you do with your videos and trying to expose, bands that are way, way, way underground, like us, and it's an important thing for someone to do.
Well, because they always say find your niche or find your little grasp, and it's like I've been into the underground music for so long, and I was in underground bands, and it's just like there was a dude Jiggy Jag that used to go to shows and record them, and that kind of gave me the inspiration for doing this, and it just kind of snowballed into its own thing, and doing the reaction review videos, and pretty much every band that I've done one for, and they'll see it, they really like what I'm doing because they're like, we didn't think anybody would cover it. And it's like, I found you guys on Facebook. Like, I'll go through and where it's like, businesses or whatever and bands, and it's like, and I'll do that, and then I'll go back and listen to stuff, or like I'm with an underground radio group, and they're like, have you ever listened to any of our broadcasts? Nope. Well, how are you on the board of directors and you haven't listened to a single broadcast? Because if I listen to it prior to doing a reaction video for it, it taints the.
Yeah, it's not genuine.
But I mean, I've done reaction review videos for bands that I've seen numerous times. Like I did one for Hemlock. I've done one for like Imagine, Diabolical, Orange Monkey, and I've seen those guys, or like Empire's End, Phantom, Siphon for a while I was the only way they had music out on the internet, and then they did a reaction review video. So it's like, okay, I gotta base what I've heard live and seen live and see how it transitions into this, or if they're able to capture that same intensity or that same feel. And
Yeah.
it was a fun video to do because I heard something and somebody else heard it too. They're like, at a certain time we hear this, and I was like, yeah, I noticed that too. Or like I was looking through my comments a little bit ago, and oh shit, what band was that? There was one that I did that person's like, hey, you should do a reaction video for this one because it's right up your alley. Breathing Theory that I did probably a year or so ago, and they're like, hey, you should do another one for them. Okay.
Hell yeah.
You guys want me to do one? I'll do one. It just might take a little bit. I got some time. I got some other stuff that I got to work in front of that. So I've got Kid Free Weekend this weekend. That's why I'm doing the interview and making the joke about the live stream of trying to do a 4-hour one. But I've noticed like doing those is also like I'll give shout outs to bands or stuff like that, and if somebody tunes in that hasn't heard of these bands and is listening, maybe it'll help get somebody to check out some of the music or things like that.
If I can get Bobby Liebling to do a interview for you, would you like that?
Oh yeah, I'll interview anybody. I will talk to anybody. My parents.
Well, I mean, he's a bona fide legend. I mean, there's even a documentary that played at fucking Sundance Festival about 10 years ago. He's toured Europe, he's toured South America, all over I mean, Pentagram is a very, very well-known band.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, yeah. that also brings this fun challenge to the table of like, bands that have been around for 20 or so years, like trying to ask Goat Whore questions that may not have been asked very much or were kind of obscure questions. So
Yeah.
that brings a challenge to that table where it's like, okay, how what can I ask him, or how can I change something where it hasn't been asked a million times, like, how does your new record sound, or what's it like being on tour?
Well,
Right.
Pentagram's actually been around over 50 years, and
Yeah.
they're like pretty much the first American doom metal band,
Oh yeah.
and they've got probably a dozen albums out or more. And Bobby is extremely knowledgeable about his favorite bands and records. I never seen anyone like him. I mean, he can tell you the fucking fourth track of the third album by Grand Funk Railroad if you ask him. He's just very, very knowledgeable about that kind of stuff. And and man, he's got some stories you wouldn't believe. I mean, he's kind of Pentagram. They kind of toiled and they always recorded, but they didn't really make the big time until 20, 30 years into the career. But Bobby was almost like a fucking Forrest Gump of rock and roll history. He wound up being around and partying with legends right from the start. I mean, he's told me stories about doing bus rides with Iggy Pop and meeting Lou Reed when he was 16 and hanging out with him. He's told me before about getting high with Ozzy and Lemmy in 1981.
Oh jeez.
Um,
All stand.
Pentagram opened up for Judas Priest in the late 70s. I mean, he's he's got some stories. I'll just let him tell you.
those would be interesting. Yeah, but it's always fun because you try to think of questions that haven't been asked them, or like when I did the one with Goat Whore, asking him what with like you've been around so long and you've done shows with these certain bands that are classified as icons or legends. What's it like being on tour with them? Do you see them as that, or are they just like friends, or
Mm-hmm.
a touring band? And finding out these different artist takes on it, or who they find as iconic versus who like a fan looking on from the outside in.
Yeah, and sometimes bands will surprise you in that their biggest influences is music that's nothing like theirs.
Oh yeah, or like when you ask a question of who influenced you, and you ask each member, and it's like, okay, you're gloom metal, this guy's thrash metal, this guy's all electronic stuff, and it's like, okay, how did this all come together and form this completely different sound that doesn't match any of these influences, but like you can pick
Yep.
out certain parts, and it's always fun listening to those.
It's like making soup. You know, you put all the different things in, and you come out with different flavors.
Yep.
I like to look at that kind of stuff as like soup. You know?
That's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
Yep. And we like to make our Rescue the Crow stew quite spicy.
Yes. It's a spicy stew.
Well, and I also like how your guys' songs, like, they'll have this like gloom feel to it, and then the next one's got like a different tempo and a different feel to it. Like each one's its own individual, where it's not just like, okay, we put all this stuff together and we have the same flavor coming out of.
Well, Tommy's just very easy for me to write with. I mean, even though a lot of our influences are similar, we got a lot that are very, very different. I mean,
Yeah.
like Tommy will tell you, he's a big hip hop guy, and rap, and he's been in bands that have a lot of funk influence and stuff, and that's just miles away from where I come from,
Yeah.
and but it melds. It makes sense when we meet in the middle on it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, really, we get each other so well. Um, Mark and I literally almost at this point know what each other are doing before the other one makes the move when we're writing. It's like we can feel it. Like when Mark lays something down, like melody lines are flying through my head. because Mark's thinking when he's laying a melody line, or a riff, whatever on guitar, like he's probably thinking, I bet Tommy's probably going to go this route or whatever. And then sometimes we just both surprise each other. But
Yep.
the writing together, man, writing with Mark, like that's why we have stuck together through thick and thin. And we're really excited now that we have CDs for the new album, and
Wish we had vinyl, but
yeah,
it is just crazy expensive. And
Yeah, I saw one, and this is completely off subject. I saw a vinyl at Walmart for like the Ghostbuster soundtrack. It was like, ooh, I need this, until I saw that it was like $20, and I was like, I don't need it.
right.
man, just to get vinyl pressed costs $10 to $15 a copy to get it made, not what you sell it for. I mean, because there's such a demand for it, and I've checked into all this. I mean, lead times are like over a year to get and the quantities, minimum quantities are really high on it. It's just you really got to have quite a bit of money unless you're signed and got someone that's going to pay for it for you. It's just too expensive.
And that's just your
I mean, it'd be
typical,
great to have, but you know,
and that's just your typical black vinyl. It's not going with
oh
like,
yeah, if you got into colored stuff and really fancy artwork, I mean, you could buy you damn near buy a car for what you have to pay for a small pressing. I mean, it's just it's prohibitively expensive for most people.
oh, I bet. But yeah, like you said, having some financial backing from like a record label. But I don't know.
Make all of it.
Vinyl's one of those weird things. Like it comes and goes in style, and it's like right now in the in cycle, like it's popular and everybody wants it. But like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you couldn't
Oh
sell a
yeah,
vinyl to save your life unless you've got those like diehard vinyl guys that are like, you know, always into it.
I kind of hope CDs want to. I doubt they do, but I've always hoped that they kind of make a little bit of a
Come back.
comeback around because honestly, I mean, that's still my favorite format. I mean, I mean, vinyl has its own sound and it's warmer, as people would say, and it sounds natural and everything, but fuck, I mean, you got to flip it over and and it's just crazy how they do. Like, here's one thing that I don't understand. Okay, you have albums that came out in the 90s and 2000s that were all digitally recorded, completely digitally recorded, and they put it out on vinyl. It's still a digital recording. You know,
Yeah, that.
and I don't know. I just you take an album that's 60 minutes long on a CD and then put it on vinyl, and you got a 3 album set you got to flip over every 12 minutes. Just nah.
The
Yeah.
one that confused me right now that's making a comeback, that I know growing up in the 90s and the late 80s, I fucking hated them, and that was cassettes.
Yeah, I never did cassettes. I went straight from vinyl to CD. I always thought cassettes just didn't have nearly the sound quality. They, I mean, how many times have you put a cassette in you just bought in your car deck and go down the road and it fucking eats it, then you're,
You fucked.
You're
you
over
know,
there with the pen and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just,
Like, oh
yeah,
man, I just got to the third track. Come on.
yeah, it's just,
shit, flip over. I want to re-listen to that one. I gotta hit rewind.
I'm just barely old enough to remember 8 tracks. And you talk about some stupid shit. Do you know how 8 tracks are formatted?
Uh-uh.
Were formatted. There's 4 separate programs that every album that was put on 8 track was broken up into, and most of the time the programs break up into the middle of a song. So chances are you pick up an album on 8 track, and one of the songs would fade midway through, and then there's a pause, and then it comes back in on the next program. It's it was stupid, and it was just, and boy, that was the thing for a while. I mean, I don't know.
Mom had Kiss Dynasty 8-track and this really dinky little 8-track player. And I got a hold of that thing, and that's where I became a Kiss fan. But yeah, 8-tracks. Wow.
They always pick the best fucking song on the album and make that the one they had to split up into 2 different programs.
Right.
That always happened.
It's like on the cassette. That was always the song that your deck would eat it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's my favorite song coming up. Shit. You got to try to straighten it all out and put it all back together. And people are like, we have cassettes for sale. Why? Just give me a CD, man. I don't want a cassette.
Yeah, I wound up standing in line for 8 hours overnight for the new Metallica cassette to come out, and then on the way home, it's fucked.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get that one either, but I guess everything comes back sometimes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's with fashion too right now. Like the bell bottoms are coming back, and it's like I don't get those ones either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's funny, like with having kids in high school and seeing some of the outfits, they're like, "This is popular now," and I'm like, "That was stupid when it came out." Well, this is a new thing. It's trending right now. It's like, no, this was trending in '97. Like it was dumb as hell then too, and it was trending in '83 when it originally came out. And it was dumb as hell then.
Yep, everything's cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when can we get common sense to cycle back in? Like and like
Right.
pension plans and better retirement benefits. When are those gonna cycle back in?
Yeah, I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. And we start worrying about actual real problems in the world instead of which bathroom. Let's put tampons in the boys' bathroom. That's an important thing to
And a litter
spend time.
box. Litter box is right now
Yeah.
the big thing too. I don't get it. Don't try to. It's you do what you want to do. Just leave me the fuck alone.
Have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Yes, we're
You know what?
starting to.
That movie's not funny anymore.
No, because it's real. It's now a documentary.
Yeah,
What do you mean we
crazy
can't
time.
put Gatorade on the plants? Why aren't they growing? Because you gotta use water. Like I never thought something that would be a joke would turn into like actual reality. Or like a while back, a couple of the kids were like, "Hey, there's this new trending TikTok thing or whatever. It's a song clip." And I was like, "All right, what's the song clip?" And I heard it, and I was like, "That's Korn's Blind. That is not new." Well, no, it's new. No, it's like 30 years old. Like it is not
Right.
new. Well, it's popular now. It's been popular for 30 years. Like that is one
Yeah,
song. When you hear Korn, it's like, okay, when are they gonna play this one? This is the one
Right.
I want to hear.
Yeah, for sure.
that's true. That's true.
Like I've seen them live one time, and they're going through the whole set, and by the end, I'm like, where is it? Where is that song? I want this song. And then it was the very last one right before the encore. And I'm like, all right, I'm good with this.
Right. Yeah, I saw Korn once with Deftones with White Pony album, and that was killer.
Is
That was
was that the Family Values tour?
no, I don't
With
think it was.
Stone
I
Sour?
know that
No.
Brian Welch was out of the band at that point.
Oh, okay. It looks like we lost
But
Mark.
oh shit. Uh-oh. Well, that's all good.
He might join back in.
Shit.
This has been quite a fun interview.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. We definitely appreciate you for everything you do, man. Like for sure.
One doing a second interview. One of these times when I'm down in the Kansas City area, we'll have to actually like meet up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely do that for sure.
Because I know I went down there in like March of this year, but I had some friends that were doing a show that invited me down, and rather than like really making a big deal, I kind of went, hung out with my mom the whole day, and then I went to the show, which my mom ended up coming into the show, and she's like, "I'm at the show with you," and I'm like, "This is the weirdest fucking thing ever, Mom." Like,
Right.
you're like, I think she's like 64, almost 65 or something like that. And it's like, you're not supposed to be liking my kind of music. And then she's like taking pictures of me, taking pictures, and she's like, I'm hanging out with my son, and I'm just like, this is the weirdest damn thing ever, but it's cool that she's here. So,
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But then she's like, if I don't like the music, I'll just turn off my hearing aids.
There you go. Solution.
But it was an interesting time. So yeah, one of these times when I'm down there, I'll have to. When you guys got a live show or something, we'll have to get together.
That's one thing that we're going to be working on here coming up soon. We already have a drummer in mind for us that is all about doing it, and which will be kick ass. And now we're on search for a bass player. So, that'll be happening hopefully sometime soon, and sooner than later. So we're really excited to take this live, and and get some more merch and some shirts and stuff, and getting out there with already having 2 CDs and a single is a nice little comfort package, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because then you're comfortable with the songs that you're doing live, and
right,
you know them, versus like, okay, we just threw this together last night. Hopefully it works.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we know, and we've been talking about some of the songs that we're going to do live too, because there's a lot to choose from. So it's like we'll be able to have some songs for different shows and some songs for different shows.
Well, that's the other good thing about having like some action, because then people aren't really sure what you're going to play, versus like, okay, we've got 9 songs, so what order are we going to play them in for people? But yeah, when you guys do get a show, try to have it on a Saturday, because then I can make it a little bit easier than on a Friday.
Sure. Saturday would work best for Mark and myself as well. Definitely.
Well, that would definitely, like, you guys would be definitely one band I would drive to go see and catch for a first show. Because with all the reaction videos and the interviews, I think it'd just be one of those where it'd be really fun to see.
Yeah, man. It would be a blast to have you, man. We would have a great time together, man.
All drinking water and Pepsis and
and milk and sugar.
What are you guys doing? Man, I'm on my 3rd Red Bull already.
Right, dude. I've got like 4 cups of coffee in me. Watch out. Tonight's going to be wild.
Hang on 1 second. I got to go take a shit again. Dude, this is your 4th one already, man. Coffee runs through me. What do you expect?
I can't help it, man. Put a porter body by the drums throne or something. I don't know.
I had 4 pots of coffee, that breakfast burrito from McDonald's, the chalupa at lunch. I mean, leave me alone. What do you expect's gonna happen? And I had Chinese food for dinner, man. It's going through me.
I couldn't resist. It just happened, man.
Then on the way here, I stopped at that cake factory. Dude, their granola crunch or whatever was fucking amazing.
Right.
So when we're done here, I've got the rest of the cake in my car that we can go eat.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, that's good stuff. Good.
But yeah, it would definitely be a fun time. I would make.
Yeah, we would love it. We would love it if you could make it.
And I mean, Saturdays because I think I'm like 6 hours from you guys, which makes it a little more, or yeah, 5 or 6 hours, something like that, depending on. Because I know with like the winter time until about somewhere in March, I'm probably not hitting a whole lot of shows, because anybody that lives in the Midwest knows what the weather's going to do, because it'll be, I'll go to, we'll be at work at noon and be like, okay, man, it's 70. Cool. Okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to get my gear and I'm going to get ready to go. And suddenly the phone's blowing up with, winter storm watches. There's blizzard warnings. And it's like, Okay, why aren't you coming? Dude, I got home. There was no snow. I took a shower, grabbed my gear, walked out. We had 3 inches of snow. Nope, not.
Yeah, dude, I feel you on that. So many times traveling in other bands I was in and stuff like that, it's like weather was always one of those things. It's like, oh shit, what are we going to go into this time?
Well, and depending like where you're traveling at, like if you're just traveling
Yeah.
from, you know, North KC to South KC, or like Bonner Springs, or uh, fuck, there's so many suburbs and different areas in there. But even
Yeah.
there, it's risky.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. I remember a few shows back in the day, one of the bands I was in, we played up north and it was just like, dude, oh my God. It's like, are we ever gonna make it there? This normally would take a half hour, but like, dude, I mean, driving so slow, watching the ice and the snow and getting there and unpacking equipment, and by the time you're ready to load it back up, it's like now we're scraping everything back off, and it's like, dude,
Oh yeah,
ride back twice as bad. Like,
yeah. I did one time. I had to go pick up one of the kids, one of my ex's kids, and normally it's a 3 hour car ride round trip, and this took almost 6 hours because I was doing
wow.
like 35 miles an hour. I had the defrost going. I was sliding around. I got the kid. We drove back. Like I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So I
Oh
mean,
god.
like any more like if I have this ongoing rule, like if I leave my house and I get out, because I travel 30 minutes to work, so if I get outside of town and I can't see the lines on the highway or like the tire marks, I'm turning around. And there was one day it was like six in the or like oh I think it was like 3:15 in the morning. I couldn't see. There was no lines. I couldn't see either side of the road. I drove up to the next turn. I turned around. I drove back, and I sat down at my computer with my coffee and worked on stuff until about 6:30. And I messaged my boss. I was like, "Dude, I couldn't see the road this morning."
Right.
Or like one time, I went to go see my daughter and was driving back, and it was one of the craziest. And I've driven in my fair share of crazy ass weather, but
Yeah.
like this was one I had to look sideways out of my window and look back because I couldn't tell if I was going forwards or backwards with the snowstorm.
Oh,
And
god.
it was one of those where it's like I was halfway to where I needed to be when I started really having issues with it. Like I was 15 minutes outside of town. It took me 30 minutes to get to town. I'm just like, no,
Yeah.
I'm done with this crap. Like
Right.
I think I left my daughter's house at like 3 in the afternoon, and it's like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, hey, I just got home. She's like, it's like a 3.5 hour car ride. I'm like, not when you can't find the road.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm driving a minivan, so there's no off roading for this guy anymore.
Right. Exactly. I got you on that. For real. Well, hell yeah, man. Well, I guess whenever you want to do the reaction review on Grounded, man, just let us know.
Yeah, and I think doing I'm gonna check out the Black Sabbath one because you guys were making some comments about it. So
Okay, cool.
doing the reaction review video for that one, I think is gonna be interesting. Of like, I'm gonna go listen to the original one and then be like, okay, where are these parts they're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Can I pick them out knowing certain things to look for?
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna be fun. I'm not sure what I'm doing the rest of the night. I'll probably edit this video and get it posted. That I've got my live stream that I'm gonna do. That's gonna be quite interesting and chaotic because I plan all of my stuff out. Like I have a dry erase board next to me that I literally on my last one I held up and I was like, look, see, here's my whole plan, and it's completely blank. And I was like, and I've hit every topic so far.
That's what I love about you, man. It's like it's just natural, like it's just authentic, man. That's what it's all about.
And the interviews are fun because rather than having like that set of questions where you ask, you just kind of vibe and you go with where the
Yeah.
flow of things go, and it's not really so much an interview as just like having fun talking, and
Right.
like tonight hearing the stories and you know bashing 8 tracks and tape players.
Hey, that's good shit, man.
It makes it fun, it makes it creative, and
Yep.
it's unique and interesting.
Absolutely, man.
And I think I've
Absolutely.
successfully drank like almost 2 things of water tonight.
I feel you, man. Oh shit.
But I appreciate the time and hanging out with you and Mark. It was a lot of fun, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, we both appreciate it as well, man. So thank you very much for all you do for all the bands, man. And you've done so much for us. I can't wait for us to play a show, and you can come up here and chill with us, and it'll be a good time, bro.
Oh, I can guarantee it will be. It'll be a lot of fun. So we'll definitely keep in contact.
Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You have a good rest of your evening.
Hey, you too, brother, man. We'll talk soon.
Definitely.
All right. Have a good one, man.
All right, later.
Later.